Alma's recipes here. Today we are going to make chicken soup. Really good, really easy. I always do when my family is sick or when I'm sick. So vamos a empezar. You'll need a chicken, whole chicken, 5 or 6 pounds, half an onion, 2 corns, a bunch of cilantro, 2 carrots, 3 potatoes, 2 zucchinis, and 1.5 tablespoons of salt. You also need a pot. My pot is 8 inches tall, 9 inches wide, and you also need 2.5 liters of water or 11 cups of water. First thing we're gonna start doing is putting the water to heat the water. So I already have 2 liters here, so I'm gonna add half a liter here. And we are going to move it to put it in the stove. So I'm gonna put my water to heat a medium flame, so it might take 10 minutes or 15 minutes. What I'm looking from here is the water to start boiling. In the meantime, I'm gonna go prepare my chicken. We are going to take the chicken out of the plastic, so I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna start cutting the legs from here. That's the first part. I'm gonna put the water in the sink so it doesn't get all over the corner. So I'm gonna go with the other leg, starting with this leg. Flip it, you can hear. And what I'm gonna do, I am going to take the skin. I'm not going to use this part. I'm gonna cut this one from the joint. You can hear, that's the joint. So we have 2 pieces. Okay, so I'm gonna take the skin, and I'm not going to use this part of the chicken. So I'm just gonna take it, put it in there, and I'm gonna cut half of the leg. And if you bend it, you kind of know what the joint it is after bending. So I'm gonna just put that in here. I'm gonna cut the wings. So I'm gonna even take the skin out of the breast, and we're not gonna use this one either. Okay, now we're going to take the stuff out of the chicken, and I'm not going to use this one either, so I'm gonna just put it in there. And the reason that I'm making the chicken out of the whole chicken is because the bones, it keeps the flavor. So this is just pretty much the bone, and this is the fat. This is the part I do want it. So this is not a lot of meat, but that's the part that's going to keep the flavor. So I'm gonna start working in my breast. So I think I'm gonna take the meat, take as much as I can. So you see I have my breast here, so I gotta take the other one. Just be careful you don't cut your fingers. So this is my bone. Doesn't have a lot of meat, but I wanted to boil this one too. So after I have my breast here, so I'm gonna just have it like in pieces. Has like a little bone, so I'm just gonna put it on. So the next one we're gonna move into cutting our corn. I usually cut it in here. It's a little easy at the end. Make sure before you cut in the vegetables and everything, make sure you wash the board and the knife. It's important so we can get all the germs out. Okay, after I cut this part, I'm gonna just open it. You see how easy it is after you cut the bottom? You see, you don't struggle, it's easy. I'm just gonna cut it. So after I peel my corn, I cut it in half, like 2. Sometimes it's harder to cut it in more, so I'm just gonna leave it in 4 pieces. I mean, you can cut it with a knife, but as much as I can. We are going to move into cut onions in half. So what I'm gonna cut is here, and I'm not gonna use the whole onion. I only need half of it. And cut it in half, and that's what I'm going to use. So now we're just gonna be waiting for our water to be boiling. Okay, so it's been like 15 minutes since our water is cooking, between 10 and 15 minutes. I forgot to check the time, but the more important thing you wanted to see is the water to be really warm. As you can see, it's almost boiling. So now it is time to add the chicken, and I'm gonna add everything. I have my bones, very important. That's the thing, is keep the flavors. So now after I add the chicken, it's time to add the corn also too. add in my corn, and now it's also time to add the onions. I add in my onions, the same time I add everything. And also it's time to add the cilantro. So now it's time to add the cilantro. We're gonna let it boil for 35 minutes, the chicken. To this point, just gonna add the cilantro. So this one is gonna come out after it's boiled for a little bit. And I'm going to add the salt too also. So I am going to add 1.5 tablespoons. So there's one. And I'm gonna add half of it. And now we're just gonna let them boil for 35 minutes. And we'll be back. In the meantime, my chicken is cooking. I'm gonna prepare my vegetables. I'm gonna start with my zucchini. So I'm gonna cut the top and bottom, which I always do. I'm gonna cut it in 3. So I'm just cutting it in half, the same. And I'm putting it in my bowl. Do the same thing. Cut top and bottom, and I'm gonna cut it in third. Cut it half. I mean, if you want to, you can cut it a little smaller, but I think that's kind of what I'm cutting in. After that, we can prepare our carrots. So I already washed them. So I'm gonna just peel it. And I am going to do the same thing with both. You can choose to cut it any size you want. I'm cutting mine a little bit bigger, probably like kind of like a 1 inch. And this one that is a little thicker, so I'm just gonna cut it in half. Here. Do the same thing for the other one. So after I peel my potatoes, just gonna cut it in half. And then just cut it this mass. So I'm not going to make it very tiny, just like that. And after I cut this one, just do the same thing with the other ones. But what I say, you can cut it a little smaller or a little bigger. So I'm just choosing to cut it just like that, a little bigger. My chicken has been cooking for 30 minutes. And at this time, I'm gonna take my cilantro, which has already released the flavor. So I don't no longer need it. And I am going to take the onion too. So the onion already released the flavor. And that's the more important part that's gonna keep the flavor, but I don't need it to this point because I'm gonna be adding the vegetables. So what I'm gonna add is the carrots. The carrots takes a little longer to cook. So I'm gonna add the carrots and the potatoes. And I'm gonna let it cook for 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna add my zucchini. So there's my potatoes, and we can just move it. And I'm going to take the bones. So it's your choice. You can take it or you can leave it. To this point, they already released the flavor. And here's the other one. So I am just gonna take it out, and I'm gonna let it boil for to bring it to boil, maybe like 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna add the zucchini. My potatoes and my carrots have been cooking for 10 minutes, so now I'm gonna add my zucchini for another 10 minutes and we'll be done. Okay, so my vegetable has been cooking for 20 minutes, so it's time to turn up the stove. This is how it looks. And we are going to cover, and we can let it rest for 10 minutes. So approximate how long it takes to make my caldo de pollo, like 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, so I let rest my chicken cover, so this is how it looks. It's been like 15 minutes that I let it rest. And I also have made rice here, so I can companion my rice with the chicken soup. But basically that's just how it's supposed to look. That's it for this video. Another thing that I like to do before I eat my chicken soup, I like to add some lime, but also I like to add Mexican rice. That's the way I like it. It's really good with the rice and the lime. So hopefully you guys try. This is really good. Like, it's very easy, and it's really good sometimes when you get a cold or something. You want to eat something warm or it's cold up there, just make a chicken soup. So easy. Not hard to do. Anybody should be able to make chicken soup. Serve to 6 to 8 people is plenty. You know, when you make chicken soup, it's a big pot. Make sure you have people to feed. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you try. I'll see you next time. And Happy New Year.